Downtown Baton Rouge. Time for us to check in on the other side of the river. No, it's not the outside in. Yes, we are welcoming in Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber because big announcement coming down yesterday. Anna?
Very big with Shell Catalyst and Technologies.
Tell me all about it.
So Shell is doing an expansion of their plant. It's about a $120 million investment. It's going to create 17 new jobs with a salary of a little over $90,000, which is awesome. And then about 50 or so indirect new jobs too. So about 70 or so jobs total.
Okay.
But the big news is that they're going to create about 15,000 more tons of catalyst than they were able to do before.
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but the catalyst plant in Port Allen is the largest catalyst plant in the world, which is kind of a big deal. So, I think you started to see some plants shut down with COVID and even before that. And I think just an expansion like this kind of reaffirms our economic vitality and helps keep us competitive. So we're really excited about it.
Okay, I'm going to read from the press release from the Department of Economic Development because I didn't know this. So catalysts are substances used during the manufacturing process to increase the rate chemical reactions occur. These substances are used in the production of a wide variety of items, ranging from biofuels to sustainable aviation fuel to medical equipment and shoes. So basically, it takes what's being made and allows more of it to be made, or allows which is being made to be more useful, correct?
Both.
Okay.
So you essentially need catalysts for everything. If you remember like high school chemistry class, a simple like catalyst experiment would be taking like some yeast and a little bit of water and then pouring like hydrogen peroxide in it, covering it, and then you watch that chemical reaction happen. So a catalyst essentially speeds that process up. So you're able to produce more of it.
The Volcano Project.
Correct. That would be.
You got to keep it like fifth grade with me.
I got to keep it fifth grade for myself. Like, whenever I started the job and did the tour of the plant, I mean, it looks like putty and it's really cool, but you have to understand the process and understand the product so that, you could sell it to everybody in the community. So, I mean, for me, it's a learning process too, but I mean, it's been really interesting. And the cool thing is that the catalyst is being used in that renewable energy field too. So, I mean, and that's kind of like the hot ticket right now. So,
it absolutely is. And the fact that this is Shell, I think, is worth noting as well, because just down the river, Shell had to close down a plant that wasn't moving in that direction. While 17 direct new jobs, and I think it was 57 indirect new jobs, were tied to this project. 17 doesn't sound like a big number, but the retention of 86 plus another 70 plus, the retention of 86, every time jobs are retained in this world, that's a big deal.
Yes.
If you can add more, especially at 90K plus per year.
That was what we said. I mean, look, 17 jobs at 90K. I mean, come on, like who wouldn't love that? I mean, that's a huge investment. And then hiring local, I mean, that's going to change 17 lives somewhere. So.
Well, a lot more than that, though, because it's keeping the place open to begin with, retains all the jobs that surround it. The 57 indirect new jobs that factors in too. But it's one of those ones where we are seeing a change in the approach in energy specifically. And anytime you can pivot, shift, adapt, whatever the case might be, if you can pivot, shift, and adapt without having to make something unbelievably drastic, shut down, relocate, move to a different state, whatever the case might be, I think that's a bigger headline than just the jobs or just the one announcement about this one. What was it? $121.7 million investment. That's huge.
Yeah.
But the surrounding area makes it that much bigger.
Yeah.
From the chamber's perspective, what went into this? Tell me all about the process, the behind the scenes.
Yeah. So obviously they're utilizing LED incentives, one of them being the ITEP program, which, is punted to the locals now. So the locals have a say so on whether or not they're going to reward that tax exemption. And West Baton Rouge said, absolutely. It's an investment in not just the plant, it's an investment in the community. We want plants to keep coming here. We want them to keep growing. We want them to keep developing new products. And that's the cool thing that I don't think a lot of people realize. Like West Baton Rouge gets vetted all the time for these beta projects for renewable energy. So we get to sit in on really cool things and get to see demonstrations of plants that are beta testing new ways to make energy more clean so that we can be emissions free by 2025. And so just to see a plant that's taking a step in the right direction, obviously, you know, we want to reward that and encourage that. So
we're talking with Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. One of the quotes from the press release said, for over a decade, Shell Catalyst and Technologies has called Port Allen its home. This is a quote from you.
I was like, wait, I know this one.
When companies in Louisiana choose to expand here, it reaffirms our status as the best state to do business. This ties in with what you were just saying. The West Baton Rouge, I mean, both sides of the river, really, but we've proven time and again to be an effective home. How do we stay ahead of the curve to continue to capitalize on that?
I think you look at the incentive packages. I think it's a lot. It's the locals, it's the leadership. I mean, West Baton Rouge has been extremely friendly to industry, and we want to keep being friendly to industry. I mean, they do so much. I think what a lot of people get hung up on, and you're seeing a lot of that in session, like we were just talking about with the carbon capture bills. People don't see the residuals of what the investment actually is. You know,
right.
It's they can't see the long-term effects, and the research and the data proves that it's a safe method. And so for us, we want to keep supporting our plants because we know that they're taking a step in the right direction, and they have buy-in from the locals. And so, you know, for us, it's just a chamber perspective. It's huge. I mean, look, West Baton Rouge has something that nobody else in the capital region has. We've got the port, we've got the railroad, we've got amazing leadership. And so when you couple that all together, why wouldn't you want to come grow in Baton Rouge? In the
You've also got available space, which can be limited elsewhere. So West Baton Rouge still has room to grow.
We do.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Is that growth or that potential growth, how do you parse that out towards like what you want to do where? Or is it more of just a catch-all sort of, let's just grow and we'll figure it out later?
No, West Baton Rouge is not like that, which I think is a plus. They're selective, right? So I don't know if we've talked about this, but I remember back in November, our parish council, they had a developer that came in and he wanted to put in a subdivision, like a little DSLD subdivision.
Okay.
And the parish council said, no, we don't really want that. We want people to have bigger lots.
Sure.
So the developer came back with bigger lots. And the reason being is, you know, they want people to come stay here and build here, but stay here. They don't want it to just be a little speed bump and then they keep going. You know, they want it to feel homely. They don't want it to feel so commercial all the time. And so yeah, I mean, look, the parish is very selective about what they let in, and we're very friendly to small business. I mean, they're the hub that kind of keeps us all together. I mean, industry's got the big bucks, but I mean, the small business community has just been fantastic, and they complement each other really well. So
let's talk about geography a little bit, or get to specific areas. When looking to court new business or expand current business, are y'all more river centric, or is it like, hey, we've got land that's off the river as well? Let's talk about that.
Ooh, for big projects, and especially industrial projects, they're always looking for land that's close to the river, just because they ship a lot of products through the port or through the railroad. So those are kind of like the two big ones, which is why we get a lot of inquiries about coming to West Baton Rouge, is because we do have the port. I don't think people know this either. But the port of Baton Rouge is one of the top 5 ports in the Gulf region. So I mean, there's a lot of traffic going in and out of there. And,
we do more than we give ourselves credit for.
We
for
really
sure.
do. I mean, that's a big deal. One of the top 5 ports in the South, like that's huge. So, I mean, that's definitely a selling point for us. And then the railroad, I mean, these are how these plants ship products, you know, like we're past the times of using like the 18-wheelers. I mean, a lot of people still do, but it's quicker just to use those barges, or, you know, stick them on a rail cart and send them on down the line. So
we got Anna Johnson from the the West Baton Rouge Chamber. My next question's about the Baton Rouge Chamber.
Yeah.
Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. Let's talk a little bit about working with this side of the river. Adam Knapp and the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. He's made a concerted effort to say we are the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, not just the Baton Rouge Chamber. What's that partnership been like, and what was it like specifically on this project?
Yeah, so we partner together with them on everything. We love them. Jason, Russell, the whole team. I mean, they're fantastic. And we don't do big projects without each other, you know, so we work hand in hand on all these. And, you know, if there's something I don't have or resources that I don't have, I reach out to them and vice versa. And I mean, we just kind of stay in contact. And, yeah, I mean, look, we love them. They've been fantastic to us. They've been great to us. I mean, they keep us in the loop with everything and vice versa. So, it's been a really good partnership thus far.
The construction is already underway, is it not, on this new project? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're getting all the equipment and things that they need by September.
Yeah, the press release said early phase construction began earlier this year.
Yes.
So, yeah, equipment expected in September. Product qualification finishing in December of 2024.
Yeah.
So,
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, a quick little turnaround there. Well, before the end of next year. But more to the point, this is a long-term investment. Mm-hmm. This investment is not just for a quick turnaround. This investment is for the long haul. So what's next for y'all? What are y'all going after next?
I have another big project.
Yeah.
And I always do this to you.
I know.
But the announcement will be sometime in the middle of June.
Sometime in the middle of June.
Yes. And I feel like I've been doing this to you a lot. But
no, you and Clay Young, y'all both hit me all the time with, I can't talk about it now. So it's fine. We'll wait.
Look, you've been in media for a long time.
No,
you know how this works.
I know. I'm very well aware of how it works. You know, no matter how hard I try to change it, it's still, it bees what it bees, as my 10-year-old daughter says. So we'll get you back on. That'll be after the session, so that'll time out nicely. Yeah. Right?
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. She is Anna Johnson with the West Baton Rouge Chamber. Great news this morning, or I guess yesterday. So, but the great news continues. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
We are coming up on 7.